This is Jablam Hockey with your hosts, Peter Wojcicki and Paul Swinbeck.
Welcome back to Jablam Hockey. I'm your host, Paul Swinbeck, riding solo. Peter is still in the Dominican Republic, so it will be me all afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you're listening. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to give myself at Swinbeck and Peter at Russian98 a follow on Twitter, or you can like our Facebook page, Jablam Hockey, as well as follow Jablam Hockey Twitter feed at Jablam Hockey to find out when the episodes are published, and we kind of show some fun facts and cool things we might cover in following episodes. So give all those things a follow, like, everything like that. In 1 week, we are going to be announcing some exciting news for you, the listener. Can't reveal what it is yet, but in a couple of episodes, Peter will be back from his vacation, and we'll let you guys know what's coming in March for Jablam Hockey. Stay tuned for that, probably an episode or two away, so come back and listen, please. Alright, on to today's episode. I will be updating you with the Andrew Ladd offers, the Caps' best season ever. Torterella not happy with the Coach's Challenge. We'll also continue our buyer segment, but in the Western Conference. So you heard the Eastern Conference last episode. If you didn't, go back and listen to that, and then we'll talk about the Western Conference today and who's buying. Maybe fit in a Team ISO if time permits. I know I said last episode that we'd be covering the Colorado Avalanche, but depends on how much time we have. The last episode was a little long for one person, so I'm going to keep this one a little shorter. We'll also hear from our Jablam correspondent in the Dominican Republic and go over some key injuries over the weekend. So let's get right to it. The Washington Capitals are the first team in NHL history to win 44 of its first 58 games in one season. Capitals' 44 victories are one shy of equaling its total from last year. They went 45, 26, and 11. So in 58 games, they have as many wins as they did last year. They are on fire, playing unbelievable. Braden Holtby is dynamite. They still have 24 more games to play. They're on pace to finish with 130 points. Since the President's Trophy was established in 85-86, the highest total points by any team was the Detroit Red Wings in 2005-2006 with 124 points. So they're going to surpass that by at least 3 wins if they keep their pace up, which looks like they're going to. They made a trade the other day. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show when we discuss our trades. So, yeah, they are looking good and playing at top caliber. Some trade rumors are ramping up 1 week from the trade deadline. We're less than 1 week from the trade deadline. Teams have offered the Jets. There's all kinds of rumors out there that they've offered a first-round pick and a prospect for Andrew Ladd. In the game on Tuesday night, Ladd had signs of thank yous. Everybody gave him standing ovations when he scored his goal. He is likely being dealt at the deadline. I think they're going to hold till the very end to try and get as much as they can. Sounds decent. A first round and a prospect for Andrew Ladd. Depends on how good that prospect is also. Like, if he's a guy that's not likely to be in the NHL in the next year or two, maybe they need to get something more. I think Ladd will be moved, though. There's not a good chance of them re-signing. And if he does, well, the fans have looked at it the wrong way, and they've been thanking their captain for their years of service. It might be their last home game as of Tuesday. So, yeah, look for him to be traded. Where is he going to go? Might cover that in the buyers segment of this episode for the Western Conference. I think he will stay in the West. All right, Monday night, Columbus beat Boston 6-4. Torterella challenged Eriksson's goal, who had escaped partially in the crease. I think the goal should have been called back. He was in the crease. He did slightly bump the goalie, and that's a crease infraction. So it should have been no goal. It was confirmed to be a goal, and Torterella went off after the game that they should just get rid of the coach's challenge, because if they can't get it right, then he's just wasting a timeout, and teams are wasting all these timeouts, and you might as well get the call right. He didn't want to throw anyone under the bus, so he didn't call out any of the referees, but he basically did. He just thinks that they need to get the right call. And I agree. I think the challenges should be sent to the Situation Room in Toronto. They do it for making sure the puck's in the net and past the red line, the goal line. So just like when goals are being confirmed, they need to go to the Situation Room. And that's why those guys are there. It keeps the decision made in-game by a small group of people that doesn't change from game to game. These referees all have different opinions, just like all our fans have different opinions. All our analysts, media, everybody has an opinion to give. And that's why I think limiting it to the Situation Room would be much more helpful. It's got to be tough for those referees. We're looking at it on a very small tablet. They don't have full control of what they see. It's coming from the Situation Room, so the Situation Room is already showing it, so why not them make the decision? Yeah, it takes it out of the hands of the referees, but I think the referees would rather that, because then they don't get hounded by the teams, by the coaches, by the fans, in game, after game. So I think the NHL really needs to look into that. All right, the injury bug is out. Man, there was a lot of injuries over the weekend since we last talked to you. Ryan O'Reilly's been placed on IR. He'll miss at least the next 10 games, which is 3 to 4 weeks. Evgeny Malkin finally got put on IR. He's been day-to-day, but that's not good for the Penguins' depth at center, so watch for that. He should be coming back. I'm pretty sure he's skating, but with a non-contact jersey, so he should be coming back soon. Michael Del Zotto is out for the remainder of the year with a wrist injury. He had surgery or will have surgery, but he's out for the rest of the season. So that hurts Philly's back end. Maybe they'll bring up Sanheim or Morin. I don't think they'll call Provorov from the juniors. So they got to give those guys some more NHL experience, and it's not likely they're going to make the playoffs now. They're kind of out of it. So, yeah, bring those guys in. Patrick Eaves missed Tuesday with an illness, so not a big deal. McDonough didn't play on Tuesday. He could play Thursday. He did travel with the team, so he took that Leo Komarov hit that our Jablam correspondent in Dominican Republic will talk to you about, of course. It's a suspension, so of course he's going to talk about it. Alex Steen was placed on IR. Blues are hurting right now. His lower body will miss 4 weeks, at least 4 weeks. Brian Elliott left Monday's game with an injury, was placed on IR. Thankfully, Jake Allen just came back from injury and relieved him in that game, so the Blues got lucky there, but they lost Elliott, who's been playing awesome. He's going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks, so it's not even likely that he's going to be back in 4 weeks, so hopefully he makes it back for the playoffs. That will really help them. Tom Gilbert on the back end of Montreal Canadiens is out for the rest of the season with a left knee surgery, so that's going to hurt Montreal's back end, and they're trying to push for a playoff spot. So returning, Justin Falk was on the ice for warm-ups on Sunday, but he didn't play, but he did play on Tuesday, so that's good to see. Jake Allen, yes, of course, he returned on Monday, like I said, in relief for Elliott's injury. Couturier played on Tuesday, and Giroux didn't play on Tuesday, but he's likely back very, very soon. So look for that. All right, time for the Western Conference buyers. Starting at the top, Dallas, 82 points, just leapfrogged Chicago at 81 points. So Dallas, I think, needs a top six winger. They just keep rotating Spezza, Sharp, Eves, Hemsky, any of those guys into the top line role with Siga and Ben. So I think if they find another guy, they can put Spezza and Sharp on the second line playing together. Andrew Ladd, maybe. That would be interesting. I don't think they would sign him, but a good rental player. The Chicago could also use a top six winger. I don't think Andrew Shaw can keep his pace up. The Jose injury could bring in another rental winger because he's out for a couple weeks. Nothing long-term or medium-term. I would say maybe Verbata. Maybe they do bring in Ladd, bring him back. They did enjoy him as a Blackhawk, so it's likely. St. Louis needs scoring depth. The STL line is back together, the Schwartz, Tarasenko, Laterra line. A lot of big injuries. Steen and Elliott, like I said, will give the Blues a lot of cap space to make a move at the deadline. So they could target a rental goalie. Khudobin, Bernier, Reimer, Hiller, Chad Johnson. There's a lot of goalies out there that are available. It just depends on how much you want to pay. And if you want to keep them, or if they are a legitimate rental and you know that you're going to lose them back in the offseason. Los Angeles Kings. Solid lineup. They could bring in a defenseman, maybe Hamzus. Hamzus could be there. I don't think they need much up on the front end. Gabrick's injury is going to hurt them in the long run till the playoff stretch, but so they could bring in a top six guy. Maybe Ladd again. There's same guys are just getting put pretty much on all these buyers teams. Verbata, Ladd, Stahl even as a rental. Anaheim, they need to bring in forward depth. They have a lot of defenseman depth, so they could move a defenseman to get a forward. That would be very likely happening by the trade deadline. San Jose is the last team that I think will be buying. The rest of the teams that are on the bubble, I don't think they'll buy. I think they'll just kind of hold course and try and make the playoffs and see where they can get with that. San Jose definitely needs some defenseman depth. Maybe a top 4 D-man. Vlasic's playing really well. Burns is obviously playing well. He's shooting a ton. His plus-minus is horrendous, but plus-minus is kind of going away for an actual stat to look at. So they could use more grit in the bottom 6. They did bring in Polak and Spalling, so that could very well help. Backup goaltender Stalick has been shaky his last few starts, but Sharks have no confidence in him right now. So again, Hiller, Chad Johnson, I don't think they're going to pay big for Bernier or Reimer. All right, it's time to throw to our Jablam correspondent in the Dominican Republic and let him rant about all things NHL. Take it away, Peter.
Yeah, that's right, folks. Here I am in the beautiful Dominican Republic, soaking in the sun, having a few beers, relaxing, scratching in all my mosquito bites. But yes, I'm just here relaxing for 2 weeks. Paul, I hope you're having fun over there doing this show. But Paul wanted me to give in my 2 cents for a couple of things, especially with the Leafs trades. He's trying to interrupt me here, trying to relax. I'm actually reading the Chris Nyland book, Fighting Back. It's actually pretty good so far. But yeah, a couple of trades the last few days and stuff going on. Number one, the most recent is the Shinkaruk trade to the Flames for Michael Granlund. It's a pretty odd trade. I think Shinkaruk, a top high-end prospect, looked to be pretty good, but he's really fallen on and off and doesn't look like he might be that huge impact player. And I guess Canucks have kind of given up on him a little bit. And that's why they've decided to go with Granlund on the trade. And Shinkaruk looks like he's going to be happy because he's going to his hometown. So, odd trade, but hopefully better situation for both players. Who both, even Granlund at the time when he was drafted, could have been a nice big, piece for the Flames, but hasn't turned out. And change the scenery, hopefully the better. Before we get into Leaf stuff, I wanted to mention a few things, like the Leaf trades. But Leo Komarov, suspension 3 games, I thought it was worth it. It's hard to say that he meant to do it, especially knowing the McDonough situation, him just coming back from these similar issues. So I don't think he intended to injure McDonough. And also, he plays that way. That's just the way he plays. And he just got the elbow a little bit up. Don't think he meant to clock him that hard as well. And McDonough was leaning over, so it's a tough situation. But yeah, he did get the elbow up a bit, and he got him in the head. So he's got to pay his dues. And it's going to happen at times. Even Komarov said he's not going to change his game. And I don't want him to. But he's got to try to not lift that elbow up as much. So he got 3 games. But the nice thing is he went out and apologized to McDonough. He tried to, I know, in the game. But apparently he couldn't get to him. Obviously, McDonough is not in great shape, too, and he's out now. But apparently he got him by text, too, and he apologized by text. So that was good for him. Tonight, though, I watched, and Ryan Reeves nailed Tennyson out on the boards. That looked like a hit from behind. The puck was pretty much gone. It's tough. Again, the players got to learn to, hold. They're not calling holding as much. So it's okay to like. And the thing is, Reeves is such a big guy, and you could see he let up a little bit on the hit, but still, he took him out, head contact into the boards on the follow through. Hopefully, Tennyson's all right, but with a player from the Leafs coming, that might already open up a spot for Pollock to be in the lineup in the next game, probably Wednesday for him. So yeah, I'm expecting Reeves to maybe get a suspension, maybe tomorrow probably. The other weird news all the way in the KHL is Kovalchuk is being benched for one game by his team, SKA St. Petersburg. Assistant coach Maxim Sokolov, I believe, said that his poor performance in the last game that they played, he just let up on the puck, and the guy took a puck easily from him for the tying goal, which they lost in overtime 3-2. So it's tough. But if he's not playing as hard as he should, he's a superstar. He's the leader on the team. They got to lead by example. And I know in Russia they're kind of copying the NHL where they're trying to put more into their younger guys, and if their older guys aren't leading the way properly, not playing hard enough like Kovalchuk could do at times, it's not good, and they don't mind benching him. But don't think of this as being him going to the NHL opportunity, because there's way too many loopholes he's got to go through. I don't see him coming to the NHL at all. So that, I think it's just a KHL thing, and he'll be there. Could come back maybe in the offseason or maybe in a year or two later. Maybe, but not right now. I don't think so. So, on to the Leaf stuff. Huge trades. The Matthias trade yesterday, I believe. I'm doing this on Monday night. Matthias trade, 4th round pick, and Colin Smith, I believe. He was a 7th rounder drafted, and he's really moved up on the charts. So the Leafs are taking a bit of a chance on him with a 4th round pick for Matthias, going the other way to the Avalanche. So hopefully they get some depth scoring. I wasn't a big fan of Matthias. A lot of people did like him, especially in the media. I wasn't a huge fan. He didn't finish enough for me. He worked hard, got his opportunities, but rarely finished. He was playing better lately. But that's because he was in the top lines. He won't be on the top lines in Colorado. He'll be 3rd, 4th line. I'd be surprised he gets higher than 3rd line unless there's a couple injuries. So at least they have depth scoring, a guy with potential for them. But the Leafs don't get that much for him, and I wasn't expecting much. 4th round pick, it's another pick in the pot. And with Colin, maybe there's potential. I could see him maybe in the future in a couple of years being on a depth bottom 6, maybe. But you never know. And then the big trade today, the Leafs trade Roman Polak and Nick Smalling to San Jose for Ravi Torres and 2 second-round picks, one in 2017 and one in 2018. Wow, that's weird. Yeah, so years ahead, I believe. So, yeah, Leafs picking up some more picks, stockpiling these picks. And San Jose gets a good defensive guys, Polak and Smalling. Funny thing, when they interviewed Polak, he's like, they're going to be a huge addition to the San Jose's power play team. Great joke there, Roman. He's a good guy, good team player, and good defensive guy. And he'll add to that on their depth chart, especially now if Tennyson's out for a bit for San Jose. He's going to be fit right in there, and he'll be good. Depth, physical defenseman, as well as Nick Smalling. He's a speedy guy, and he could help them on the penalty kill. And the Leafs stockpile more picks, and they've got so many picks, and they're going to get. You expect them to do the same kind of thing they've done this year with next year and the following year. Pick up a couple free agents that are decent, mid-level guys, maybe 3rd or 4th line type of guys, and then trade them at the deadline for 2nd, 3rd, 4th round picks. But they're going to have so many that you won't be able to draft that many players and have them playing in the Marlies or the ECHL or whatever. There's just too many contracts. So the Leafs are going to have to combine draft picks to move up in the draft. I hope they do this. And as well, I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of picks drafted in Europe, just so they can develop more guys over there and they don't have to put contracts on them over here. So we'll see what happens, but I love them. I love all the trades. It helps San Jose with this move, but it helps Leafs with the future. They need picks. They need to move up. They need to grow. They need to develop for the future. That's what they're doing, and hopefully they draft good players. That's the main thing, is finding them. And if they go to the right places and they find them, they look like they have a good future. Guys that are still available, Leafs could still move. Reimer, I'm hoping maybe Bernier and keep Reimer, sign him into a couple of years, but he could be moved. Parento, I'm still expecting to be moved. I said Polak and Matthias are good availabilities to be moved, and they were, and I'm still expecting Parento to be one of them. Other guys, maybe Brad Boyce, maybe Grabner could be. Arcobello, Clune, you never know. And then the other thing from the trade is Rafi Torres was assigned to San Jose Barracuda, the AHL team. So again, not putting him on the Leafs roster for the remainder of his contract. It's odd because he missed 2014, 2015 last year with the ACL, and then in preseason with the 41-game suspension missed, and he's still been having knee problems. So he really hasn't played hockey in the NHL in like 2 years. It's been a long time for him. Not expecting any time soon, and you never know, but this could be the end of Rafi Torres' career. I hope not. I like watching him. He's a bull. He's a hard player to play against. And maybe he'll be back next season, but we'll see. Paul, did you watch the outdoor game? It was a blowout for the Wild. It's as if somebody lit a torchetti under the Wild. All right, that's it from Dominican Republic. Back to you, Paul, in the studio.
All right, thanks, Peter. Yeah, the Winter Classic was great. Blowout for the Wild, 6-1. Cool to see a lot of players with Minnesota roots, either played for the Badgers, their university team, or grew up in Minnesota and played in the state of hockey, as they call it. It was a great game outdoors in front of 50,000 plus. It wasn't quite a sellout, a few thousand short. It's only the second of 17 outdoor games not to sell out. So it's just proving that these games, there's too many of them. We got to get rid of a couple. I think they should just keep the January 1st Winter Classic, the traditional one that they started with, and make the money off that. But they're making money off all these, so of course they're not going to go away. But Peter and I both agree that it's getting flooded out, that the games are no longer special anymore. They're just another outdoor game. They're trying to put them everywhere. They've now got the technology with the ice to put it pretty much anywhere, no matter what the weather's like. So yeah, I think they need to get rid of it. One trade that Peter didn't have yet because it didn't happen by the time he sent the recording. Buffalo sends Mike Weber, so there's that Washington Capitals defenseman depth we talked about last episode with the buyers. So the Capitals get Mike Weber. They give up a third-round pick in 2017, so not this draft year, the next draft year. So Buffalo's just picking up draft picks. I think they're going to move one or two more depth guys at this deadline for some more draft picks and try and keep up with the Maple Leafs, who have made all those moves and picked up draft picks. And yeah, they have a ton of draft picks, like Peter was saying. The other trade, Granlund and Shinkarik, that Peter talked about, two prospects that are just kind of phased out in their own organization, so hopefully they can find something in those organizations. I know Sven Barchi last year got traded to Vancouver, and he's turned his game around. He's finally made it to the NHL, so he had a rough go in Calgary. I don't think the coach really liked him, so good on him. Hopefully Shinkarik and Granlund can do the same. Oh, I hear that outro music, so I guess that's our cue to wrap it up. Next episode, we will discuss a few more trade rumors. We're less than a week away from the trade deadline. It's going to be a good one, I think. I think there's going to be a couple blockbusters. That's what my prediction, a couple blockbusters. We'll also have the fantasy ups and downs for you guys, and our prospect of the week. Again, don't forget to give myself at Zwambag, ZWAMBAG, and Peter at Russian98 a follow on Twitter. Like our Facebook page, Jablam Hockey. Post anything and everything you want. We'll be happy to answer questions. And follow our Jablam Hockey Twitter at Jablam Hockey to find out when our episodes are published. We also sometimes tease what we're going to be talking about for the next episode if there is stuff that we see come across the Twitter. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good week. Bye.